That shows way too much of my forehead. It's almost like a. I'm wearing my Camp Crystal Lake hat. I'm pretty sure you've seen it in other movie or in other live streams. I brought my bell, my ring if you need service bell. Reminds me of Mr. Rogers. The trolley would come by. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood, a beautiful day in the neighbor. Would you be mine? Could you be mine? I've always wanted to have a neighbor just like you. I've always wanted to live in a neighborhood with you. So let's make the most of this beautiful day. Since we're together, we might as well say, would you be mine? Could you be mine? Won't you be my neighbor? Hi, neighbor. Welcome to another episode of Let's Be Friends. If you like how I modulate my voice, just leave a like. I'm going to start calling this the show that's never watched. The show that's hardly watched. I'm making these episodes because I feel the need. I'm about to show you my my next show and tell. And I haven't brought it into the picture yet. This movie, I think, will be Spies Like Us. What I'm going to try to do is treat you to a movie each time I have a live stream. I'm going to put a link to a movie that is on YouTube that is free with ads and that I recommend. I'll recommend a movie and I will leave you a link so that you can watch it free of charge. And that'll be a little treat I have. Tree nuts are good for some people, unless you have tree nut allergies. So today is kind of like a Halloween theme, because it is October the 25th on a Wednesday. To you is the best day of your life. To me, it was Wednesday. So hopefully somebody will join me today. It's almost, well, it is 5:20 um, Eastern Standard Time. I'm on Eastern Standard Time to give you an idea of when you have, what time you have to be available so that we can do this together. And I'm going to keep making these regardless because it's my hobby now. My hobby is to direct people to my link so they can donate because this channel is not monetized yet. Um, so this will be how I fund myself and make it possible to do this. And maybe I'll be able to do more with more donations. You know, a lot of shows are based on donations, so that will be something that keeps this thing going. You know, people will be able to vote with their wallet. You know, um, if they like my content, they will donate, and they will They will keep me going. You know, it'll inspire and encourage me to make good content. You know, I eventually want to interview people. I want to set up a table next to a Wi-Fi where people are a high traffic area and have questions to ask. You know, it's like, what are girls tired of hearing? What what do girls want to hear more from men? What would girls like to hear more from men when they are approached? What are girls tired of hearing when they are approached? And why don't they approach men? You know, is it shyness? Is it fear of rejection? Because I've heard it's better to face. Is it easier to face rejection or regret? That's another question that I can ask. Is it easier for you to face rejection or regret? Because and let me know in the comments. This is a question I pose to you. Is it easier to accept rejection or regret? Because you might regret approaching a guy because that guy might say yes. Because guys, I'm pretty sure, are waiting to be approached. You know, when they go to a coffee house or when they go to a club or they're at a some kind of gathering, they're they're hoping to be approached. You know, they're hoping a lady will walk up to them and at least say hi. My name is Susie, or you know, hi, I'm Tabitha. You know, what's yours? What do you like to do when you're not working? You know, guys are probably, in my opinion, I would like that. I would like a lady to walk up and if she is drawn to me or attracted to me or uh, is just curious about me. I had a woman walk up to me. I had my top hat on when I was at a coffee shop. I was at a coffee shop sitting at a table with my top hat on, and a woman walked up and sat across from me at the little round table that I was sitting at and asked me about my top hat. And you know what? There was no harm in that. No harm to her or me that happened. You know, the lady just walked over and sat across from me on my little round table. There was a little round table, much like this one, much like this one here, little round table, and there was a chair opposite of me that I was sitting at, and I remember it well. Just me and my top hat, and she walked up and sat in the chair across from me. I keep repeating that, and she asked me about my top hat. You know, it's like, why not do that? Why not have the courage to say hi? You know, I saw you sitting alone. Would you like some company? You know, some guys are real jerks. You know, but which is worse, rejection or regret? You know, because that guy you saw sitting at a table might have been a guy you could have had a conversation with, a pleasant conversation with. Would you rather regret that, or would you rather take the chance of being rejected? I mean, you can always recover, you know, build up your rhino skin, you know, that analogy, you know, that um, reference to rhino skin, you know, that analogy of having rhino skin, you know, develop your armor, you know, when you are rejected, because you might be rejected 1 out of 5 times. You might be rejected, uh, but then the next time you ask, you might be warmly received, you know, or well received and warmly welcomed by the guy you approach. Um, the guy might start talking to you as you're walking up, you know, as long as you don't walk up too fast, you know. So yes, these are things I like studying human psychology. You know, what things cause people to be afraid of approaching someone. Because I'm hearing a lot about that. You know, a lot of girls don't approach men, and probably because they need to be fine tuned to be immune. Yeah, fine tuned to be immune to rejection. You know, because once you get your immunity to rejection, you'll have those times that you don't regret approaching someone who might be nice, who might be willing to talk with you, if only for a moment. So anyway, my name is Ed, and I'm wearing my Camp Crystal Lake hat. I'm in a Friday the 13th kind of Crystal Lake setting here. This is actual foliage behind me. It's not a green screen. This probably explains the lack of acoustics. I am talking and then it goes into a microphone. I'm a freak with the microphone. So I guess I'm far enough into the live stream to go ahead and talk about my my show and tell. I've I've collected my Walmart machete. A lot of people use these for bushcraft, for survival, because this will help you build a shelter. They say a lot of people, more people die uh, from exposure, from exposure to the elements. So once you get lost, don't go far from where you got lost because people come looking for you. That's the first thing to do is don't go far away from the place you got lost, and put something bright out there. If you've got a yellow or an orange tarp or orange, something that could be spotted from the sky or something that could be spotted from a distance, you know, but staying where you are when you get lost because and also tell people where you're going to be because that might help them get to where you are. Because if you tell them where you're going to be and they say, "Hey, Charlie hasn't, he didn't come home. He hasn't come home yet. Maybe we should go looking for him." He said he was going to be down by the river, down um, by those giant rocks. So if Charlie falls or is bitten by a snake or something, you know, they'll be able to find Charlie because he told them where he would be. So that would be rule number one. Don't go off by yourself unless you tell somebody where you're going to go. And I used to joke about just get naked. You know, if you get naked, um, someone's going to find you. Someone will find you if you're naked because you'll send out that vibe. Oh God, I hope nobody sees me. I hope nobody sees me. You know, and somebody's bound to find you if you're naked. If you're clothed and in your right mind, then I think you'll stay lost longer. But if you're naked, have something to defend yourself with. Have a beating stick or a club or you know a rock in your hand. I don't think people will mess with you if you got a rock in your hand. If you're naked and have a rock in your hand, people will probably keep a distance. Or a flaming torch. That's one thing I've always threw me off when somebody says, "I took out my torch when I was when I was lost in the cave. I turned on my torch." They're speaking about their flashlight. We call it a flashlight. They call it a torch. So it's like, wow, I don't see a torch. Oh, he's got a flashlight. That's what he's referring to. And it's like it's interesting that our different words for different things for the same thing. Like a biscuit is a cookie to us. We call them cookies. They call them biscuits. You know, it's kind of like, wow, we used to have somebody from the UK sit next to me and saying, "What do you call that?" We call it this. You know, and don't say I like to pet your dog. That'll you'll get a weird look from a Englishman if you walk up and say, "Can I pet your dog?" So We're 10 minutes into the show. 15 minutes, sorry. I had to focus my eyeballs. So this will be time 2 today. Somebody popped in, I saw. So I can ring my bell for service. That's probably really loud. But I like my bell, you know. I'll give someone a ring each time I'm joined. And here I am. It's Wednesday. We got all our errands done. Mom and I went and did some grocery shopping. So back to my Walmart machete. That's what I'm bringing to show and tell today. It's got a nice handle, you know, so you don't lose your grip. And I like how this is set up. There's a bar that goes in here, a small bar that hooks to a utility belt. It's funny that it doesn't come with the bar, but you can, if you have a utility belt, you can get the bar and stick it through here and hook it to your utility belt, or if you choose, you can just put your belt through this loop, and you can wear your machete on your hip. And it's a good zombie weapon. Machetes don't run out of bullets. And I think the zombie apocalypse has run its course. I don't hear many people talking about zombies or a zombie apocalypse. But yes, this is a quick way to build a shelter. Like I was saying earlier, more people die from exposure and thirst. If you have a canteen, drink the entire canteen. Don't sip the canteen. Don't sip it, because people have been found dead with water in their canteen. They were saving water and they became dehydrated. So you probably already know these things, but it's for those of you who don't, you know, this is good. If you haven't heard it, you heard it here first. If you have a canteen and you find yourself lost, drink the contents of the canteen until it is empty, and then search for a shelter or any kind. Sometimes there's already shelter. You know, you don't have to waste energy building a shelter because there's probably a cave nearby. There's probably a rock formation that will protect you from the elements, from the rain, and you know, the sun. You know, if you're on the right side of a giant rock, you can keep yourself in the shade. For example, if the rock is here and you are on the eastern side of the rock, you know, the sun is setting, so you'll get shade on the eastern side of the rock. Oh, hi. Good day. Welcome to the party. I look closely at your logo, and it's a series of sombreros with eyes on them. And I like your K. What is K is what in Spanish? So you had what in Spanish, and it sounds like KKK, and it's like a confused Mexican KKK, and so I thought that was funny. Also, it's not racist because you're saying K in three separate. Anyways, I found the humor in that. That's what I like to do. I got when people leave comments or chat with me, I like to look at their channel. Sometimes I subscribe to their channel because they sometimes only have 1 or 2 subscribers. So, I'm getting somebody's trying to text me right in the middle of my show. So I guess this is a good time, right around 5:30, 5:36 Eastern Standard Time. So, oh, you also like my jokes. Well, good. You like that ring? Is it this ring? Or the ring that won't ring right now? Is that ring or this ring. This one is my Saint Benedict ring. It's like he was a saint of exorcisms, and I really like it because it basically tells the devil to drink his own poison, and that I choose to follow the light of Christ and not the dragon. And he was a powerful exorcist. Oh, the suffering. Yeah, that's one thing people need to consider. You've got the engagement ring, the wedding ring, and the suffering. It's like there's a lot of suffering in marriage sometimes. It's like you don't marry the woman. One guy, he put the ring on the wrong finger. He said because he married the wrong woman. It was like, wow, that makes a lot of sense. So that's the cautionary tale of getting married, you know, because until death do you part. And some people say, you know why it costs so much to get divorced? Because it's worth it. But then you have like my brother on his third marriage, he found the right woman, and he's still with her today. And my youngest brother got married once, and he's been married even till today. So sometimes marriage does work out. It's just I think people rush into marriage a lot, and the best marriages, I guess, are the ones that don't have to get annulled, you know. And so I guess that's why the church allowed for for uh, for annulments for divorce because there's so much money that can be collected, you know, much money to be collected after a divorce. And I remember that. I think it was a Willie Nelson movie I watched. It said, you know why divorces are so expensive? Because they're worth it. It's like I like jokes, and I think yeah. Today I was talking about survival, and I was showing for show and tell my Walmart machete, and I was talking about how the first order of business in survival, a survival situation is shelter. 'Cause they say a lot of people die of exposure. You know, they either get way too cold or way too hot, or they just, yeah, the elements get them. And so yeah, build a shelter first, and then look for water because a lot of people die from dehydration. You know, and which is horrible way to go because I've been dehydrated, and when I have been dehydrated, I have had chills. Uh, they say confusion is another symptom. Also, like pinching your skin. If you pinch your skin and it stays there, that means you're dehydrated. Or when you go pee and it's not clear, that means you got to keep drinking water. Boil your water. They say like a rolling boil. It doesn't have to be like 30 seconds because you're evaporating your water. You're decreasing your water uh, because it's evaporating, you know. And so yeah, they say just bring it to a rolling boil, and that will kill the germs. And then pour it through a filter. Sometimes all you just need is a sock, not a piece of cloth. You know, that handkerchief. You put it over a vessel with a hole at the bottom, fill it with sand, and just pour the water through there, and it gets all the undesirable stuff. And yeah, so that's like these are simple things that people forget about. You know, when you're in a, because sometimes people panic when they get lost. You know, or they start wandering, trying to find where they were. And it's like if you get lost, stay where you are. Uh, you know, and survive on whatever's edible, you know, and make sure you know what's edible. People think, oh, that's a plant over there. One military guy, I was at what are those, Army Navy stores? And I was looking at all the jungle hammocks and ponchos and everything. And we got to talking about um, things in the forest that you could eat. He said, you take the berry that you find and you touch it to your lip. And if it's bitter, bear meat? What was that like? Did you get the power of the bear when you ate the bear meat? Was it tougher than deer meat? I hear deer meat is kind of. Some people grind it into hamburger. I've had hamburger that was made from venison, and because my brother goes deer hunting, and he shoots with a bow and arrow, or yeah, he goes bow hunting, and he's got yeah. I wonder how yeah, because how often do people get to eat bear? It's like pretty tough to eat a bear, and because it's like the bears usually know how you taste. They know how we taste, but we don't know how they taste. Or yeah, the consistency, it's pretty tough. That bear meat, or I've eaten. I think I shot a bird and ate it. I thought, well, I shot this bird, I might as well eat it. It was a small bird. My Camp Crystal Lake hat. It's funny when I look at the camera, it's backwards, but when I watch the video, it's straight. I mean, it's well, yeah, it's written right. But yeah, it was. I think at Universal Studios I got this, and it's got a little blood on it. It's like um, the Easter egg. The machete and the hat, and the background looks like I'm at Camp Crystal Lake. So I'm gonna have to find ways that I can get more people watching my channel. I think it'll catch on because April of this year was when I first started promoting, and I've been handing out my little business card um, that has my YouTube channel on it, and also my Facebook, uh, my my Facebook link or whatever on it, and so that's a start. But I think what I've noticed is some people that chat with me, they said they were told by someone else that I was doing this. So I know, yeah, isn't that nice? And what we could do is support each other. Um, yours is X Trigger, so yeah, me mentioning you, people will know about you when I mentioned you on my channel. So we can be like a couple of pillars. We get enough pillars going, we'll be able to. We'll have like a society. We'll have to get a signet ring that we wear, to show that we are a society of YouTubers. And we can make decisions, kind of like the Bilderbergs, and the Rothschilds. We can each get a little bell like this. We can all meet like somewhere in the woods. You know, have Alex Jones follow us around. We'll roast marshmallows and judge how good our chili is. Have chili cook-offs. You know you're good when Alex Jones is following you around. Whether he's talking about your secret society. We can have certain traditions that we follow. We all have a certain cat that we all pet, as we enter. There was a cat in a store. Oh, wait a minute. My favorite actor. I think of John Lithgow. Um, he's been around a while. He plays a banjo. I always like actors that play banjo. Steve Martin also plays a banjo. And the sound of a banjo, I don't know, is there something I like about it? It's like Americana, because I don't think any other country incorporates a banjo into their music. It's always when I hear a banjo, I think of Americana. I think of like Appalachia, Kentucky, places like that, and it's like, what's other actor? Robert Downey Jr. You know, there's a lot of people who uh, Keanu Reeves is up there too. Because of he's been in quite a few movies. Um, Not only that, it's the rumors that I hear. Usually, The Jerk. Yeah, that was Steve Martin. And so I'd have to. I mean, there's quite a few actors that I can think of that. One that I like is Kurt Russell. In fact, in the movie that in the this the live stream I did just before this one, there's a link to Big Trouble in Little China. That was one Kurt Russell movie. And also Escape from New York was one that came out in the 80s when I was in high school. I watched that, and it turned me on to Throwing Stars, because there were a couple of Throwing Stars scenes in there when the guy threw, when Snake Plissken threw a star and it hit a guy in the forehead. And that's what inspired me to make Throwing Stars. I would get tin snips and sheets of metal and cut throwing stars and out of the sheet metal, and I was just throwing stars everywhere. It was like it was so cool to watch those things stick in the wall or stick into a tree, or I was just a nut with throwing stars. It was ninjutsu was a big deal in the 80s. It went from ninjutsu to like special forces. Everything was tactical, special forces. And so I was into ninjas, and then I was into special forces, and um, then it was zombies, vampires. Vampires were before zombies, like Twilight movies and all that. All those Twilight movies came out, and it was all about the Interview with the Vampire, Bram Stoker's Dracula, all those movies that came out. They were all kind of romanticizing uh, the vampire, and how even with Bela Lugosi, it was all about look into my eyes, or covering his mouth with the cape. That was the thing when I was growing up. When I was a little kid, it was always I'm a vampire, and he had this cape draped over his arm to hide his fangs before he bit the girl, you know. And then there was a lot of spoofs on vampire movies, like Leslie Nielsen. There was another guy who did Love at First Bite, and then Once Bitten, and all those, Um, Once Bitten was pretty funny if you watched that one. I think that was a Leslie Nielsen movie, and about Igor just eating bugs, and Harvey Korman says, "What did you just do? Did you just eat a bug?" And he goes, "No, I didn't." So I guess we're in sunset. There's some cloudage over there that's covering the sun, but right now it's 6 o'clock. So we're getting into that solstice. 6 o'clock no, 7 o'clock in the morning is when the sun comes up, and then around 7 o'clock is when the sun goes down. So it's kind of like equaling out that 12 hours of sunlight, 12 hours of night, and a couple of more nights. The 22nd, no, 27th. The 27th will be the night of the full moon, midnight. You know what? Outsiders. I think it wasn't that the one with Kiefer Sutherland, and he was yeah. The Grimm Collective went to where that was filmed. It's that guy and that man and that woman, man and his wife. They go on tours. They tour like murder scenes. They tour places where I think that was called Lost Boys. I confused that with Lost. But Outsiders, I do remember that. That I think came out in the 80s also. Outsiders. He was, I think, the guy who was in Something About Mary. Outsiders. I remember that. And then there was, Lost Boys was another vampire movie that came out in the 80s. It went from the 80s to the 90s too. Like that Tom Cruise movie, Interview with a Vampire. Quite a few vampire movies. And so I'm thinking I need to feed Bella. No, Stella. There was a squirrel. If you watch some of my earlier shorts, there was a squirrel that would hang around here. I called her Stella, and she would just come out of the woods, come out from behind here, and we would set some sunflower seeds on top of the trash can, and Stella would come and eat the sunflower seeds, and I'd film her eating the sunflower seeds. Also, our bird feeder. Squirrels love to attack those bird feeders, and it was kind of neat to have that. It was neat watching Stella climb up the bird feeder post that we have and stretch over and then hang on to the bird feeder and eat from the bird feeder. I've got some video of that, and but you have to go through all my short videos to get to it. And I'm trying to make at least three a day, some jokes, you know. Like I keep, every time I go to the hospital, the doctors ask me, when's the last time you had a bowel movement? And so they keep asking me that. So it's like a running joke with me. When's the last time you had a bowel movement? And then I have to stop and think. A couple of times I've said, oh, just earlier, I just now had a bowel movement. And it's like, yeah, when was the last time I've had a, I think, you know, if I'm standing in line at the grocery store and I say, did I leave the iron on? Did I let the dog out? When was the last time I had a bowel movement? You know, it's like you never think about that because it just comes so naturally and so frequently. Hopefully, at least once a day you have a bowel movement. And then you can check it off your list. And so I think I got to throw away this container here when it's finished. I guess I'll wait till after. I don't need to do that. So anyway, that's what we could do on Thirsty Thursday. What I could do is go and buy some. That's an interesting bird. You can probably hear it. I know sometimes when I do these live streams, I can hear birds off in the distance. Like you can hear robins and crows, and there was an eagle. I know. No, who's it? Smokey Bear would have been mad at you. I remember those commercials where Smokey Bear would come out and give people hugs, you know, because they did put out their. They say you have to drench, you know, the fire pit. You have to drench it because sometimes there will be sparks still in there. There will still be embers in that fire pit, and you think it's out. But it's like, yeah, there's some times where I've walked away from, I had a fire pit going or a bonfire, a small, a bonfire about 2 feet wide, because I would go into the woods in California and, and I would think it was cool, you know, just take my ferro rod and some cotton balls. I'd have them in my little, what was that, fanny pack? I had a fanny pack and I called it my little bug out fanny pack. I had like a pocket knife and a ferro rod and a compass, you know, everything you would need for an immediate survival situation. And I would go and test my survival skills. And I would take like a cotton ball. What you do is you get a little Ziploc bag and you put, you take some cotton balls and you put Vaseline. You just need some Vaseline into the cotton balls, and you take one of the cotton balls and you put it onto your bonfire, onto your tinder, and you strike it one time. All you need is strike the ferro rod once, and the cotton ball ignites, and you can just let the thing turn into your, you know, start your bonfire, and I would just keep putting twigs and branches and pieces of wood onto the bonfire, and that's how I'd keep warm and like I'm camping, you know, and then I would let the fire burn down, and because I left it clearing, there were no chances of sparks getting anywhere, you know, causing flames in places you didn't want them, and so I just let the fire start to smolder, and I think what happened one time, when I walked away from this little bonfire, when it was smoldering, someone came into the woods and said, "Oh, look, a bonfire!" So it's like now they can keep that bonfire going, So it's like, hey, I did them a favor. They can now, this guy and his girlfriend, I just remember the girlfriend saying, oh, look, a bonfire. And it's like, it didn't spread because there's a 12-foot clearing, and you just wait for it to die out. But I guess if it's a windy day, it's a bad idea. Or if some leaves are falling, and they can, the leaves falling can cause a fire to spread. But this wasn't the fall season. It was after the leaves have fallen already. So, yeah, that would be terrible if you build a bonfire and you walk away from it smoldering, and all these leaves keep falling, and there's suddenly the ground is covered with leaves, and now you have a potential for the fire to spread. But so yeah, I think it's a good idea to at least pee on it. It's going to stink, but at least you've got rid of the embers. And so yeah, well, thank you for being faithful. You're like the last few times that I've done a live stream, you've come on and I've recognized you. There was one also that comes on that has a Barney. When I looked at the logo, I guess. What happened to the pig? I don't know. To which pig do you refer? Oh, the pig. Okay. You're talking about the black pig? It was like a potbelly pig. A few years ago when I first got here to Georgia, there was a potbelly pig that was roaming around here. Yes. I don't know. I really don't know. I guess the owners found it because some people here in Georgia keep a potbelly pig. It's just like they keep a pet. And it was so weird because I thought it was a dog at first that had a barking problem or whatever. And it was just right across the street from here. And that little pig, it was so cute. And I still have the video too. You can scroll through my videos, and there's when I took it off my flip phone. I had a flip phone, and I had done some. That's when I did the video with that flip phone, and I was able to upload it to YouTube. I think it was 2017, 2017 or so when I first got here, and I noticed this potbelly pig running around, and his name was Reuben. I remember that, and it was just a couple of houses down from here, and I never knew who owned it. I just heard that the pig was running loose. So yeah, that little piggy, this little piggy found its way home. It didn't become like a rotisserie. So yeah, that's pretty cool. I'm gonna have to look at that again. I also have some clips of my dog, my mom's dog, Shaggy, and that's always going to be fun to look back on because it's when he was younger. Yeah, 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020, 2020. It was like 5 years ago was when I first started videotaping or recording him, and there's a couple like episode 1, episode 2. There's one where he's sniggling. He has like a Dalmatian fuzzy toy or whatever, one of those fluffy toys or whatever you want to call them. And he was sleeping, and he put his paw over it like he was cuddling with it. So yeah, those are memorable moments. And yeah, I don't know if the pig is still alive today. You know, maybe it decided to stay home this time. I guess animals just want to roam sometimes, just like me. I like to take off in my car and walk in the park, or sit at the coffee shop. What I want to do is be sneaky and take my phone into the coffee shop and see how many people will sit and talk with me. Because in the coffee shop, what I do is I take a piece of typing paper and I fold it a couple of times, and then I write like challengers wanted, and people come up and play tic-tac-toe with me, and and what I can do is have another piece of typing paper that I fold up and make it like like table setting with your name on it, and I can say something like, what's your best pickup line? I think pickup lines are pretty funny. You know, um, which pickup lines do you like the most, or what pickup line won you over? or what was the stupidest pickup line, and just make the topic of that day pickup lines, or the the nicest thing anyone's ever said to you, things like that. Because that's like earlier I was talking about Beetlejuice. One person commented on one of my "What movie is this from?" and he said, "You next you should do Beetlejuice." So that's where that Beetlejuice. There's one of the shorts are of the a Beetlejuice scene, and wouldn't you know it, they were coming out. They're coming out with a sequel sometime in September of next year. There's going to be a sequel to Beetlejuice, and Michael Keaton's going to play Beetlejuice. And one thing I noticed, Batman, the very first Batman was Michael Keaton, and it was like Tim Burton did that movie. Tim Burton also did Beetlejuice, so it's like that's weird that Michael Keaton played Beetlejuice and then Batman, because I noticed Tim Burton likes to use the same actors in different movies. Johnny Depp was another one. He was Edward Scissorhands. He was other Tim Burton movies that came out. He was actors in those other movies also. Sleepy Hollow. I wasn't aware that he did Sleepy Hollow also with Christina Ricci and Johnny Depp. What Beetlejuice did, or Sleepy Hollow? Sleepy Hollow was pretty. Christopher Walken had those sharp teeth, and so yeah, he was the rider, the headless horseman, yeah. And Johnny Depp's he played like the autopsy, the guy who did the autopsies, and when he was cutting open that body and it started stinking, you know, I've heard about bodies exploding when the go pop or something like that. It's like, I don't think I could be a forensic pathologist. Dr. G is a show that I still watch when it's on. It's pretty interesting. It's very educational. When she does autopsies and finds out how they really died. Was it a murder? Was it a suicide? Was it drug abuse over time? Was it alcoholism over time? You know, one lady, it was her birth control that killed her. You know, it's like it caused some condition in her body. I forget exactly how it went, but they found out that the birth control that she was on was is what caused her to have a blood clot or something like that. Some women go on birth control because it helps them with their menstrual cycle. They don't get the cramps as much or as bad because the hormones from the birth control help nullify the cramps in a menstrual cycle. You know, because it's like, wow, that's horrible. Something your body does on its own to itself. You know, it's like an auto thing. You know, it's like, wow, your body goes through these cycles, and part of those cycles is pain and cramps and just so bad, nausea and just horrible. And it's not an illness, it's not a disease. It's just something a cycle that your body goes through. And so yes, Stephen Lynch made a song. It's called Down to the Old Pub Instead. Do a search for that one. It's pretty funny for guys to listen to anyway. Women might find it humorous also. It's called Down to the Old Pub Instead by Stephen Lynch, or Old Pub or something like that. But it sounds like an old Irish drinking song, but it's talking about menstruation and how to get out of the house and go down to the old pub instead. And it's pretty funny. And another song he did, Stephen Lynch, was Waiting. You have never met a famous person. You should go to California. Good Lord. Lou Ferrigno, he was at a signing. At the California State Fair, there was like a Comic-Con thing going on there, a comic book expo or something like that. And Lou Ferrigno, he played the Incredible Hulk Bill Bixby played Bruce Banner. His name was Bruce Banner, but they changed it to David Banner because of homophobia. But yeah, the original guy was Bruce Banner. He was the guy that was exposed to gamma rays and became the Hulk when he was angry. So Bill Bixby played Bruce Banner, and then Lou Ferrigno would be the Hulk when he was angry. So Lou Ferrigno was there at the California State Fair. Hey, that rhymes. And I saw him in person, and the guy from Family Ties, who was that guy? Michael Gross. Michael Gross played the dad on Family Ties. It was a show back in the 80s, a sitcom, and he came to Railroad Days in Portola, and Portola was the town, the railroad town that I was in. They had Railroad Days, and it was a historic event, you know, commemorating Portola being a railroad town, and he was there, and Chris Kattan was on SNL, and also Kevin Nealon was in town. Go to the comedy shows. Sometimes comedy shows or comedy clubs is where you'll meet some of these celebrities. You know, you'll actually be able to, like Tom Green. Tom Green was in Tommy T's in California. It was a comedy club called Tommy T's, and Tom Green went there, and he did a stand-up show. Kurt Russell, you got to meet Kurt Russell, which is kind of cool. You know, Kurt Russell met Elvis. When Kurt Russell was a kid, he played Moochie in Disney shows. And, oh, Kurt Cobain. You met Kurt Cobain. Okay. So many Kurts out there. It's hard to know, you know, to which Kurt do you refer? So you met Kurt Cobain. A lot of people are funner to meet, or well, they're very nice and gracious in person. I heard Britney Spears is a sweetheart in person, but watch out for Ellen DeGeneres. I keep hearing them. I laugh every time I hear Ellen DeGeneres stories about who meet her in person. She's so nice on her show, and she's so nice as a stand-up comedian. But they say when they meet her in person, she's just like extra mean. And who was it? The Wild Boys, Steve-O and Chris Pontius. Yeah, Steve-O and Chris Pontius. They met Ellen DeGeneres, and they just couldn't believe how mean she was. And it's kind of funny because it's when you meet some people sometimes. You know, sometimes they're not in a good mood. Like there's been times when I haven't been in a good mood, and it's like if you would have met me at that time, you probably said, "What a jerk!" You know, he's kind of a jerk. You know, but most of the time, I pretty easygoing, and so yes, it is interesting. They say never meet your heroes. You know, because I've always wondered, you know, what's it like. Like when I met Tom Green, he was a pretty good guy. You know, after he did his stand-up routine, there was a table set up backstage where he was selling swag. You know, he was selling T-shirts and DVDs and stuff like that. And I got to meet him up close and personal. You know, and we spoke for a little while. And wow, it gets kind of noisy around this time. You hear that motorcycle? It's like 10 after 6. That's kind of rude. It's like, what are you doing? What are you compensating for when you need that loud of a motorcycle? You know, you probably woke about 5 or 6 babies. You probably got a lot of dogs barking. When a siren goes through your town or through your neighborhood, do a lot of dogs start yapping or howling? I've noticed that, like when a siren, you know, from an ambulance or a fire truck, all the dogs start going, roar! So it's like, you kind of watch that happen. They all have that effect. I used to do a chicken cluck. I would do like, buck, 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 buck. And I had a dog named Chucky. It was a little white dog. And he would start howling every time I go, Chucky, buck, 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 buck. And my dog would start going, woo. And he looked so, like, into it, too. He'd go, oh. It's like, Chucky. Everybody knew that secret, too. Like, even neighbors sometimes would come over and say, Chucky, buck, 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 buck. And he'd start going, oh. And sometimes Shaggy, I'd call him Chucky because he reminded me of Chucky. And yes, he was named after Chucky. So yeah, we're sitting in the sunset. How about that? We don't see the sun from here. So it looks like I got 2 people on now. Don't be shy. Say hi. Feel free to chat because I love to chat. I got my Camp Crystal Lake hat on because it's close to Halloween. I get to celebrate 2 trick-or-treatings. The 20, was this Saturday? Okay, this Saturday, Cartersville has a trick-or-treating because Halloween falls on a Wednesday. So what they do is they switch Halloween in Cartersville, no, Taylorsville. Okay, Taylorsville, Georgia. They have trick-or-treating on a Saturday night instead of on Wednesday or any day. Anytime Halloween falls on a weekday, they have it instead on a weekend, which is Saturday or Friday night or something like that. So the kids can go trick-or-treating. So I'm going to probably make sure that my phone is fully charged, that I have my tripod, and what I can do is take you with me to that function because it's pretty cool. My brother opens up his garage and he decorates the yard, and all the trick-or-treaters come up, and what I can do is set up the camera or set up the phone so that when trick-or-treaters come, you'll be able to see their costumes. And I'm going to be a magician. My mom's going to be my bunny rabbit, so she's got the bunny rabbit ears and the little cotton tail and the bow tie and everything. So I'm going to have my top hat and cape and everything, my magic wand, and we're just going to have a fun Halloween get together at my brother's house. And what I could probably do is charge up my battery pack. I have the battery backup, and so that's what I can do is to keep my phone going. I could just have the battery charger there, charging up the phone or keeping it charged, and we'll be using my brother's Wi-Fi, which is just as good as this one, you know. So yeah, it'll be on this Saturday. This Saturday will be the, so what is it? Today is Wednesday, the 25th, 26th. So the 28th, yeah, the 28th will be our Halloween get together in Taylorsville. And so you got 2 emojis. Looks like a yellow emoji and a green emoji. Oh wow. Shaggy wants to bark at everything today. So it looks like I got 3 people, which is closer to 10, I guess. My goal is to get about 10 people. So tell some friends about Let's Be Friends. That's what I call this. Let's be friends. It's a good way to break the ice, and to so if you want to have some questions, if you like my jokes and all that are on my channel, then I can keep the jokes coming, and I'll try to make some videos maybe once I get a camera and a laptop, and so yeah, these are some plans for the future. And so even now, I'll see how many people. Looks like I'm holding on to 2 people now. There was 3. No, they're not talking. They're observing. Sometimes I do that. Sometimes I like to just sit and watch. Say, do I really want to hobnob with this sort of person? And so yes. It keeps popping in. 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. It's like a scoreboard. And so anyway, at least I know some people are still here. And we're like an hour into the show. How about that? Our, sometimes my show only lasts about 30 minutes to 40 minutes. And now I've got 3 people, got some chatters. And so, yeah, it's 6:30. No, 6:15 Pacific Standard Time. No. Yeah, why are they not talking? Maybe they're, yeah, I have 3 now. How about that? We're getting there. This is like one of those telethons. We have the board that shows how much money has been raised. So now 0 likes and 3 people. I think what it is people get shy at first, you know. Uh, but like I say, don't be shy. Say hi. You see how excited I'm getting now? Because earlier today when I was doing a live stream, I had nobody chatting. So it's like the crickets, and you try to fight the crickets. You try to fight they're like, uh-oh, what do I do now? Nobody's showing up. You put a party together and nobody shows up. So you're just left there with your cake and your ice cream and your tears. And so yeah, maybe this will inspire me to keep making jokes, you know, jokes and scenarios and things like that. I want to interview people. I want to give people a chance to tell jokes, because some people can tell some pretty good jokes. You know, there's one joke I made up called "What separates men from boys?" Chris Hansen, and it's like Chris Hansen. He's pretty funny. Who is it? Violent J of Insane Clown Posse. I think it was Violent J. There's Shaggy 2 Dope and Violent J. I think he went to Violent J's house and did like a comedy thing. I think I saved it. I can put the link in this description about Chris Hansen. Oh, I got 2 likes. Thank you for the likes. And I'll ring my bell whenever I'm inspired. It's my bell of gladness. So yes, I'll have to have some party favors. You know, like those little wine bottles that you pop and throw confetti. You know. So anyways, you got the mental picture. And I'm wearing my Camp Crystal Lake hat, and I've arrived. I'm sitting in my foldable chair, and I'm in the same longitude as Ottawa. Yeah. So yeah, we're all in this. It's pretty cool. So here we are. We'll see how long we can do this before the mosquitoes eat me. I don't think this is mosquito weather. It's too cold for the mosquitoes, which is good. I think it's funny how they spell mosquito. They spell mosquito with a Q-U, like mosquito, but we say mosquito. There's a show called Across the Pond, or a YouTube channel, and try to remember the guy's name. Lawrence, yeah, the guy named Lawrence. He does this channel called Across the Pond, and he talks about the differences between England and America, the things that Americans do, and how spellings are, and why we say things. And it's interesting to get the history of why we say things. And so I'm excited to be here today. Are you excited to be here today? And so I got 2 likes. Oh boy, oh boy. It's like feeding a monkey peanuts. Yeah, yeah. So so we're down to 2 people, 2 loyal subscribers. Hopefully you're both subscribers. Sometimes I can't tell who subscribed. Sometimes I can. Sometimes I know it shows like Don Juan subscribed, or you know, who else? Anyways, somebody, it shows a picture of them. It shows who subscribed. But sometimes all I know is a subscriber, a new subscriber. So yeah, I'm getting up there. I'm a little over 200. So probably by next year I should be up to at least 1,000 subscribers. But it'd be nice, the word of mouth, you know, depending on how exciting my shows are. You know, people can, like I've said earlier, there are people who just they they say, "Oh yeah, somebody told me about you." So that's a good way to get around. That's a good way to get exposed, not exposed, but discovered. There's so many people that get discovered on YouTube. I think that's how Bo Burnham got discovered. Justin Bieber got discovered on YouTube. And that girl who made that song that stuck in my head, I Know Victoria's Secret. She was on. She was a YouTuber also. Sometimes I can see those crop dusters. It's always creepy. It always reminds me of Snoopy and the Red Baron. Whenever I hear an engine like that, Kawasaki. How rude! I know. Whatever they did with it, they left 2 likes. I know. Why would you leave? I sometimes want to see how how the show ends. Like at the end, there might be a big surprise. It is rude. You know what? Yeah, we need to call them on it. You guys are rude. Why did you leave? Oh, there's 3. We're back to 3 again. Maybe they had to go to the bathroom. Sometimes I have to go to the bathroom. Contrary to popular belief, I have to get up and they're back. That's right. They're back. Welcome back. Maybe they had to have a brief intermission. Sometimes movies used to do that. Sometimes movies, they would stop the movie so that you can go get your popcorn, go to the bathroom. But now they're so demanding. A 2.5 hour movie and there's no intermission. You got to sit there and hope that the movie's over before you can go to the bathroom. Because it's like, wow, you got to get up and go to the bathroom, and then you've missed at least 5 minutes of the movie or more if you have to stand in line. If you have to stand in line to the bathroom or wait for somebody to finally get out of the stall so you can go in there and take a crap. And it's like, but sometimes in front of the urinals, they'll have a little screen there. They'll have 3 likes. Thank you for that. Yeah, so while you're at the urinal, you can keep watching the movie. Or wouldn't it be neat if on your iPhone you can you go on your iPhone and you can just, okay, I'm still watching the movie as I head to the bathroom, or while I'm waiting for my popcorn to have butter put on it. I remember the drive-in movies. The drive-in movies, yeah. They we used to have to roll down the window and hang the speaker onto the window, and then turn it up just loud enough so you could hear it. Everyone would be sitting in the truck or in the car, but then they evolved to your radio, your car radio. They hand you a ticket, and on the ticket it shows you which station to tune into. You turn into that station, and you can hear what's on the screen, which is really cool. So you can stay warm inside your car without rolling down the window and letting the mosquitoes come in. And also, another part of the drive-through was those coils, those green coils. You sit them on your dashboard and you light them, and the coils would burn down, and it's supposed to keep the mosquitoes away. And I think they would sell those in the snack bar when you go into the snack bar. So now we're down to 2 people. We'll make this a telethon. When it gets too dark, we'll go in. Because I'm just going to have leftovers tonight. I mean, what the hell? I'm not going to be cooking a full meal, so why not? Leftover chicken. We got some chicken breasts with barbecue sauce on them and mashed potatoes and gravy. And I shoved it all into a little leftover keeper. So all I have to do is put it in the microwave. Neil Tyson deGrasse said that it's okay to microwave things. The rumor used to be that your food comes out radioactive, or your food, the nutrients are cooked out of the food because of the microwaves. And he said, no, that's not true. It's just a method of heating. So yeah, if you use a microwave, it's still nutritious. You're still getting cooked. You know, your food is still getting cooked. Wow, got a big old airplane up there. Big old white airplane. They always seem to go directly overhead. I guess there's somewhere nearby. They always fly from north to south. No, from east to west or from west to east. So there must be some kind of an airport nearby. And so I got two people. We're keeping track of you, you people who join us. So 3 is our lucky number today. We'll call that the most people have joined. But then there are people who, when the show is done, we end the show, or I end the show. Then other people, they view it. So I guess, yeah. So in case you miss it, you know, sometimes you're stuck in traffic. Sometimes you're waiting in line at Walmart. You miss the show, so you can come back, you know. Or sometimes your girlfriend shows up and you want to focus your attention on your girlfriend or boyfriend, you know. Or you're watching somebody dance in your yard, you know, that you don't really know, and you miss the show. So I guess I'll ring the bell once more. This will be the harmony bell. Oh, I was at a Buddhist temple one time, and they would chant Nam Myoho Renge Kyo, Nam Myoho Renge Kyo, Nam Myoho Renge Kyo, and then they would go, and then they would resume Nam Myoho Renge Kyo, Nam Myoho Renge Kyo, and then they go. So they'd get into that cool rhythm, and somehow I felt better after that. You know, after a few minutes of Nam Myoho Renge Kyo. Keanu Reeves is a Buddhist, I think. And Tina Turner is a Buddhist. Yeah, I think Jim Carrey also got interested in Buddhism. But yeah, I guess in California you run into all different kinds of religions. Yeah, there was Buddhism and Wicca and you know, Catholicism. You know, so I guess I'll keep this going for a while. We'll see what happens. I see some sunshine back there. I think that's sunshine. We can point to the sunshine in the morning. I guess this is a good time to come on because people are coming home from work. They've had dinner probably because it's almost 6:30. So yeah, so it gives them time to get through traffic. It gives them time to wash their hands or or use the bathroom and wait for the microwave to finish cooking their food, and then they can finally sit down, turn on the flat screen TV, and watch this show. And so we were talking about meeting celebrities, or so Kurt Cobain was a celebrity. So you can say you've met a celebrity. And who else? Who else did I? Yeah, California. It seems like there's quite a few, you know, and hang out at the comedy clubs. You know, you'll see celebrities come there. You know, sometimes celebrities come to see other up and coming. You know, they want to watch new celebrity or you know new comedians, new musicians. You know, some people who are musicians on stage, they'll look into the audience, they'll see somebody who is already a musician, you know, or already a singer, you know, and or a talent scout. It's like, yeah, Martin Scorsese was watching me on stage, or Tim Burton was watching me on stage. It's like, so that's yeah, get out there and start doing stuff, even if it's wrong, you know. That's a good way to get discovered. If you want to be on YouTube, just go on the street and do something weird. Somebody is probably going to get out their phone and start recording you. You know, just start clucking like a chicken or juggling, you know, or start singing songs real bad, or acting crazy, start acting crazy, and somebody's going to whip up their phone. They're going to get their phone out and they're going to start recording you. And you're going to, hey, you're that guy on YouTube. You know, not today. Ain't nobody got time for that. You know, they raping everybody around here. Hide your wife, hide your husband, hide your kids. Because they raping everybody around here. So I got 3 likes. I did all that work for 3 likes. And we're down to 1 person now. Some people left. How rude. Maybe they'll pop in again. Maybe it's not the same people. Because I know this, when you start a live stream, somebody sees on their phone, I know, we'll just have to mark it, those who are rude. And you know what? It's the most rude people are the anonymous ones. You know, you don't know who's being rude. But I'd rather know that they, you know, because some people are just out of kindness, they're staying and watching you, though, even though your performance is terrible, even though your performance is not worthy of being watched, they're still there because they just want to be nice. It's like, even because, like, how can you genuinely know? I mean, how can you really know who thinks you're great and who can? How do you know if they're just being nice? You know, I'd rather be in a crowd of people who think I'm great, you know, rather than people who just want to be nice. You know, I just want to be nice, so I'll watch his show. I'll laugh. I'll laugh at the right time. You know, I want to be surrounded by people who go, ha ha, this guy's great. You know, but I think it takes being a bit of a, what do they call those? Attention whores? I think I can call myself an attention whore. But then again, how many famous people started out that way? You know, they started out saying, hey, I just want people to notice me. George Carlin said that. You know, he's saying it was all about, hey, look at me, look at me. You know, that's what inspired him to get out there and do his stuff. So, yeah, it's a start. But you know what? It's quality, not quantity. If I'm doing the show for one quality person, then I think I've done my job. Because they're not hanging on because they're nice. They're hanging on because they're genuinely entertained, you know. So, just you and me, kid. You know what's sad is when I investigate, um, there's a small percentage of my audience that are female. A very small percentage of my audience that are female, and a small percentage are from the UK, and a small percentage, I think 4%, 4% of my audience is UK, 4% of my audience is Canada. Canada was 5%, but now it's back down to 4%. But I think there's a Chinese saying, lose 10, gain 9. So, so yeah, sometimes it takes patience, you know. Some people have to figure out, you know, do I really want to watch this guy? Or, yeah, I want to see that guy again, you know. And sometimes our goals, you have to earn where you are. You know, like if a rich guy, no, if somebody wins the lottery and moves into a rich neighborhood, they're sometimes frowned upon because they didn't earn all that money. They just won it, you know. It's like they're not thought of as highly, you know, because they just won that money. And then now they're buying a new house in this rich neighborhood. And it's like, hey, you didn't do all that work all those years to earn all that money. So maybe that's where I'll get my chops, you know. I'll get my my reputation because I started out as a one viewer audience, you know, and then I gradually attracted, you know, more viewers, you know. People who aren't being nice, they genuinely want to watch me, you know. So I said all that to say this. So this is an hour and 19 minutes. How about that? We've gotten farther. And the reception's better. I look like a, you know, There's actually, it's not freezing like before, when it was just taking pictures of me. It's actually fluidity. So that's pretty good. So we're back to 2 now. Let's see what happens. Oh, we're back to 1. That is kind of rude when, if you think about it, because Bailey is she's a guitarist, songwriter from Canada, and every once in a while I pop in to watch her live shows, and she's in the process on her live stream of writing a song, or she takes requests. People request that she play a song, and she plays a little riff from the song, and then she goes on to the next song, and so yeah, I like watching that live stream when it's on. It'd be nice to put it on the screen, when she does her live show, her live stream, and sometimes I comment. One time I asked her to play Iron Maiden, but I guess she plays contemporary. She doesn't play like rock. It would be nice to, she plays electric guitar, and Iron Maiden riffs would probably be pretty easy for her to play. So that'd be cool. Like she would start singing 22 Acacia Avenue or something like that. There's a place where we can go, go, go. The red lights burning bright tonight. Beat her, mistreat her, do anything that you please. Yeah, that's a pretty graphic song, 22 Acacia Avenue. It's all about a prostitute, just like Roxanne. So many songs about prostitutes. I wonder if those are counted as views. They might be counted as views when people pop in and pop out. If you look at the end result or the end tally, it might be a lot of views. There might be all considered as views, which is, it helps me out, and I'll keep handing out those cards, you know. Maybe when I'm in the line at Walmart or at the grocery store, I could just say, hey, here's my YouTube channel. Just watch me out of morbid curiosity. See what I do next. Like Howard Stern, people watched him because they hated him. They're back, and now rude. Yeah, rude. Maybe that's what I should have as a little sign. Whenever somebody leaves, just put rude, rude. Or my fart gun, my fart sound gun. When somebody joins on, I'll hit the bell, and then when somebody, yeah, just rude, and then yay, have another sign that says yay. Whenever I see people, it's like I think I'd watch me. Like Silence of the Lambs, Buffalo Bill, I'd F me. I'd F me so good, you know. I'd watch me. I'd watch me so good. Yeah, I'd watch. They did so many references. Joe Dirt, I think it was Joe Dirt 2. They did references to Silence of the Lambs. Silence of the Lambs, when he was in that pit and he was rubbing lotion on himself, that was a Silence of the Lambs reference. I guess the story of Joe Dirt is that hair was a wig that grew onto his head, which is kind of morbid. It's kind of gross. I thought it was just a mullet, because mullets in the 90s were pretty popular. I guess early 90s they had the mullet. Well, at least I have a cheering section, or a support group. I'll call you part of the Ed support group. Everybody who shows up to my live stream, call it my support group. It's like people can. What I can do is maybe mail you a patch, if I get enough donations, I can get patches made that are called that say on them Ed Support Group. So if you stay on, you can get on my Facebook and get my email address, and and then I can mail you out a patch that says Ed Support Group. And it's always baffled me how people can back into their parking space. I thought that'd be so cool if I could do that. I'm always afraid I'm going to hit something if I back in. Like, when do I stop? How far do I go? You know what I can do is put a stake in the ground right where my car should stop. And then when I back in, I can have somebody wave me in. That's what I could do. Maybe have mom wave me in and say, stop. And then I can put a stake in the ground or spray paint the parking space so that when I get to that spot, I can stop and I know that I've parked far enough in. Because that would suck. Some people crush their garbage cans, you know, because the garbage can is behind the car, and they pull their car in and they crush their garbage can because they parked it, they went in too far, you know. But now they have cameras in their car, and it's like, how do you know how far to go? Well, I look at the camera and it tells me how far to go. But some people are just, they know exactly when to stop that car in their parking space so that they can, yeah, just get in their car and drive straight out. And maybe I should practice that. Just say, how do I know how far I am in the parking space so that I can stop at a certain point? Oh, I guess I'm getting fidgety. Oh well. Fidgety is part of being excited, I guess. So yes, I want to think of that. Or a button. I can get some buttons made. Go into Michael's and that craft shop and just go to some place and get a whole bunch of buttons made that say Ed Support Group. It's like, hey, if you want a button, just donate to Ed's Heart, and I'll mail you out a button called Ed Support Group. But then again, it's a cost, you know. Well, maybe it might be worth it, because if somebody sees somebody wearing that button that says Ed Support Group, they say, hey, I want one of those. And then they'll donate, and the revenue will increase. And then all they have to do is keep track of the taxes. That's how they got Al Capone. You know, he didn't pay his taxes. He got away with everything else. Yep, Al Capone. He's kind of he's a hero in a way. But then he had ghosts. He had people actually haunting him. People he killed were actually haunting him. So yeah, maybe it's not a good idea to kill people because they might haunt you. There's a lot of stories on YouTube about people who were haunted by those they killed, especially those who kill children. You know, the ghosts of these children visit them and help them solve their crimes, which is pretty cool. One story I heard was a kid who was killed and then he reincarnated. No, a guy who was killed was reincarnated. He came back as a kid. The kid explained the murder, and that's how they put the guy away. They were able to get evidence that incriminated the killer, and that's how he was put away, because the guy who was killed reincarnated and then came back as a kid and said, yeah, that's the guy who killed me. Here's how he killed me. And so, yeah, that's spooky, isn't it? It's like, you better not kill anybody, because they'll come back as somebody, and they'll put the finger on you. Yeah. So that's another ghost story for Halloween. So, wow, we're on, well, it's like, okay, an hour and a half, maybe. I'll stop doing it when you stop laughing. So, yeah, I guess when it starts getting real dark, that's when we'll cut this off. Or when my battery starts going low. Oh, someone said hi, Arthur. What's that? A little Jaguar? I tried to look at these logos. I'll have to look at it later. So someone said hi, and I return your hi. I raise your hi with a hi. Welcome to the party. So we got two people. Oh, cool, cool. You guys are breaking the ice. I guess the goal is being accomplished here. This show is called Let's Be Friends. I'm your host, Ed. I'm wearing my Camp Crystal Lake hat. It's official, and it's got Friday, Friday the 13th. Shaggy! Cool out. Cool out or chill out? Make like a tree and get out of here? So, my nickname used to be Eddie Machete, and oh, I have a dog. He is a Bouchon Dotson. I guess a Bouchon and a Dotson got together and smoked afterwards. And he's on the porch, and he's barking. Maybe when it comes out, I'll put him on camera so you can get to know the dog, the family dog. My name is Ed, and I like to make jokes about anything that people don't think is should be joked about. So it's getting darker. We'll see how dark we can get until all you see is the whites of my eyes. My eyes are like a doll's eyes. I like your name. Are you referring to X Trigger, or are you looking for it? I guess we'll know. So now we got two people, which is the opposite of rude. Oh, Eddie. Yes. Eddie. What have you done for me lately, Eddie? What have you done for me lately? Eddie. I need to have. Oh, I have a glowing sphere. Maybe I should run and get it. It's pretty cool. It's made from a natural substance, and it always reminds me of Heavy Metal, that cartoon that came out in '81. The Lochnar was the son of all evils, the sum of all evils. It was that Lochnar, and it's a glowing sphere that I have, and it's green like the Lochnar. It's pretty cool. I keep it because it gives me power. If you only knew, if you only knew the power of the dark side. I saw a sticker that says, "Come to the dark side, we have cookies." So I thank you two people for coming to my party, my show called Let's Be Friends. One day I would like to get some M80s and put them into watermelons, and we can judge which fireworks are more powerful. Because they have grades of fireworks, and it's like, or explosives. There's something about watching things blow up that's pretty fascinating. Or see who can eat the most sunflower seeds. Or black olives. You could have like cans of black olives and see who can eat the most black olives. See who gets a bellyache the first. Or see who's the first to get a bellyache. What cartoon characters can you best impersonate? Who's that Herbert the Pervert on Family Guy? I think his name's Herbert the Pervert. My brother does a really good impression of him. Hey, little boy, won't you come into my basement? I've always done Stewie Griffin. I think I can do Stewie Griffin's voice pretty well. Wacko. Is that Adventure Time? I'm not familiar with some of these Nickelodeon cartoons. I'm not familiar because like SpongeBob SquarePants was one. I used to watch it on the flat screen TV at Pizza Hut. Boxer from TMNT. Oh, Baxter. Baxter. I gotta, yeah. Maybe I can watch, maybe when you start making videos, I can watch your videos and leave comments encouraging. I guess lately I've been thinking about the stop motion. I've done some stop motion. Um, I want to get back into it. I still have my laptop, and it's all about getting it from the camera. The camera goes to an SD card, and the SD card I have to put it to my laptop, and then from the laptop I can load it up onto YouTube. And there's some stop motion that I've already done, and so it's a series of. That's how babies are made. That used to be how babies were made. You know, people got drunk and they got laid, and babies were. That's where babies came from. You know, it's like it was never a planned pregnancy. I guess they're called oops children. You know, it's like, oops, we got a kid. Now we have to be responsible. That's what stopped my brother from misbehaving. As soon as he started having kids, he started becoming more responsible. Me, it's like all about responsibility. Sometimes responsibilities can wear away at you after a while. Hey, my face is still lit up, so we're about to find out. I'm Scottish. Yeah. So that's cool that you could recognize that. So two of us are Scottish. I was told I'm related to William Wallace.
Sometime.
I'm pretty sure mine come from my dad also. My dad is English, English and Scottish, and Scandinavian. I heard I got some Scandinavian. The Viking. Let me know if I'm cutting into your conversation. I am also Irish. My mother's also Irish. That's where I get my Irish from. So now I feel like I fit in on St. Patrick's Day and other Irish gatherings. That's right. The same genes. We share the same genetic code. Yeah, what about you, Trigger? Tell us. Tell us about yourself. Make it unclassified. I know it takes time. It takes time to type it. Oh, I'm also German. Wie geht es Ihnen? Ich heiße Ed. My mother's also German. That's weird how we have these coincidences, you know, these similarities. My mother's German. My dad is English, and I think my dad and mother have Irish, some Irish genetics. I think that's we all talk about our temper. My mom's got that temper, you know. So how much Gaelic do you still know? I know some Gaelic because I used to go to the Renaissance Fair. I like to go again, but I learned some Gaelic when I went to the Renaissance Fair. You got Gay Jason's mask? Yeah. That I think has gotten into the psychology or the psyche. Whenever they see that mask, they know that something bad is about to happen. So yes, this is a souvenir. I'm pretty sure I got this from Universal Studios. It's keeping my head warm right now, oddly enough. I like this bill because it keeps the sun out of my eyes. So we are Irish. Bum ba da bum 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 bum. You subscribed? Well, thank you. Rome wasn't built in a day. So yeah, I'll be able to have one of those signs, or no, not one of those plaques. Yeah, I think you get a gold plaque first. No, you get the silver plaque. I think something like that. But it's just like getting record albums. You know, you get your gold album, and then you get your record album, or your platinum album. So I'll be sitting there with my sign in the back. You know, when I create my studio. This is kind of nice. I like this nature setting. I could be out here during the daytime, or so I guess around 6 o'clock I can start this, because it seems to be earlier in the day is when people are busy. I've noticed that change. But no matter what, you can still watch. She's taking the dog out. We'll get when it's brighter out. That way you can see. Have I been to Europe? I have not been to Europe. I've always wanted to know what it would be like, um, to go to England and see England, France, uh, Ireland, where castles are, and in towns that date back to that time. That'd be cool to see, and also see like the armor of that time, to see the weaponry of that time, the castles, being able to see the insides of castles and also the outsides. It's amazing what they could do with stones back then, how they can carve them and stack them, how they can make drawbridges and boats and torture chambers and dungeons. Dungeon is a French word. I forget what it meant. It's just a dark and horrible place. I guess people changed their minds in the dungeon about what they did to get themselves there. So now we're down to one person, looks like. The cheese stands alone. The cheese stands alone. Uh-oh, I have a visitor. My mother's decided to come to say hi. Mommy! Bobby! Bobby! Have you ever been I have been to Nevada, Las Vegas. Circus was where I went when I was a kid. Viva Las Vegas! I used in Portola. It's not far from um, it's not far from Las Vegas, Nevada. We'd all get into my aunt's van, and we would head from Portola into Las Vegas to go to Circus, which was a pretty fun place. Hi, you want to join us, Mom? You got bored? You're getting bored. Oh, you're back.
I said I'm trying to come back here.
You're trying? Okay. We're going to have to set up a seat here for you.
Yeah.
It's getting too dark to point the camera at anything now.
I know.
It's like, hi, Ed's mom.
Hey.
Somebody said hi to Ed's mom.
Hi.
She's got her teddy bear shirt on.
Shaggy, will you?
She's trying to not get the dog tangled up. They put the, oh, I think I looked away before I could see the chat. I was getting distracted by the doggy, the family dog over there. You got the family dog over there.
Yeah. Come on, Shaggy.
Let's see what happens. Yeah.
Come on.
So I am seated. And then we got, let me see if I can get Shaggy on the, there we go. That's the family dog. He's sniffing around. Don't let him poop over here. He's eating something, Mom.
Shaggy.
He's eating something he might not be needing to eat. He finds stuff on the ground.
Yeah, poop.
And it's like, oh yeah, you have a dog like that, huh? He's a Boshan. That seems to be the regulation dog around here. Every time I see a lady walking a dog, it's always a dog that looks like that. It's never a different color. You know, it's like they might be from the same litter. And here's my ma. There's
Hello.
in her teddy bear t-shirt.
Hello.
She says hi. We're roommates right now. So we take care of each other. We make sure we get to each other's appointments. When you get to be 50, your life turns into a series of appointments. And so we don't talk about women's ages here. We don't. It's considered rude when you.
Not to me. I'm happy to be 74.
74.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we got. I guess we still have some sunlight here.
Oh, yeah, it's beautiful.
If we're camping, I guess we'd get. Oh, I got 4 likes. How about that? See, it only says 1, but there are 2 people chatting here. So that's something I'm learning.
Good.
It's not all accurate, but at least I know that 2 people are. Oh, we're all Irish.
All right.
We're all Scottish and German.
All right.
So yeah, we're of European ancestry.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also South American
Wonderful.
ancestry. It's Trigger, ex-Trigger. He's from Mexico, Mexican and German.
Wow.
And you know what? Bruce Lee had some German,
Wow.
oddly enough.
Yeah.
That's a fun fact. So yeah, if you want to be considered I think. Oh, okay. So somebody left. So I guess it's getting to be dinner time.
It's already 7.
It's already 7. I'm usually getting ready for.
By 6 o'clock.
Yeah, I'm getting so excited. Oh, I keep looking away and I missed the chat.
Aw.
So I'll just, anyway, I'll probably be in about 5 minutes or 6 minutes. Yeah.
I'll see if Shaggy wants to go in.
That's how I know I've been on too long. Mommy comes out and checks on me.
Oh, Shaggy has to go potty too.
I know. Shaggy sometimes has to leave the house.
Yeah.
We thank him for not doing it in the house.
Come on, Shaggy.
Yeah, so I got 4 likes. He didn't leave.
Shaggy,
So that's what it'll be. That'll be my cue when Mom comes out with Shaggy. So we could talk a little longer, I guess. I mean, wow, since we're on a roll here. Until somebody else has to go to dinner. I need to eat dinner. I haven't eaten dinner. Yeah. So what I can do is around 5 o'clock. What do y'all think? Around 5 o'clock maybe? I don't know. That's weird. I think I've noticed that it's not always accurate, even with your views. When you are, how many views you get, it's not always accurate. So maybe you're getting a lot more views than you think you are, or a lot more subscribers than you think you are. I think this is just a rough estimate. I mean, because YouTube does pay people. My video, I mean, my my channel isn't monetized yet. That's why I have it set up to where you can go to my link. I put a link in the description so that this channel can be supported. A lot of people do that. I've noticed. They have a donation link because their channel isn't monetized yet. So yeah, that'll be changed eventually, I guess. You know, by the end of this year, or by the end of next year, I might start getting some, or I'll have enough audience to where I can run a business. You know, say, hey, click on this link and buy my T-shirts or whatever. Buy my special brand of whiskey. You know, that's what Dan Aykroyd did, and also the Red Rocker, Sammy Hagar. Sammy Hagar has his own. That's okay. I mean, it's just there. You know, it doesn't matter for rich or for poor, in sickness and in health. I can still have you as a viewer. Yeah, it'll be kind of like a yeah. It'll just be my support group then. Yeah, that seems to be something that's happening now because rent is just so damn high. I remember when rent back in the 90s was like 300 bucks, almost, yeah, around 300 bucks. You know what? That's the rule. That's how things are now. It's like working a job doesn't cut it anymore. Working a job is not enough, and it's kind of hard. You know, the American dream. The American dream used to be, you know, back in the 50s, Dad came home from work and Mom was cooking dinner. You know, Mom could stay home with the kids and raise the kids. Now the kids are out in the street, you know, running amok, latchkey kids. I was a latchkey kid. It's like after school, Mom and Dad were at work, so I got into the house with a key, or sometimes. You know what? I think it's because men are becoming obsolete. The roles are reversed now. It used to be the man was the breadwinner. Now women are the ones getting employed. Women are the ones who are able to get and hold jobs. You know, men men don't. It's harder for men to keep employed, for just to even get hired sometimes. You know, um, it used to be the other way around, and it's almost like that. Yeah, college even. It's like people in college are being shortchanged. You know, they're paying to go to college, but they're not getting the education they need. You know, they have been there, yeah. Because I remember having to bypass college to stay at work so that I could pay my rent. You know, I had no time for college. Something happened to Arthur's. It's getting dark. All you see is my face now. Yeah, people are living on ramen noodles. People are just barely getting by. They're doing side hustles uh, to because tuition and books and room and board. It's they're having their parents help them sometimes. And you know what happens if you can't afford college? You know, college is supposed to help you get higher. I'm going to have to end this. I've never been at this long. So tomorrow around this time, so maybe around 5 o'clock, we could do this again. I'm gonna go back in, or my stomach's gonna start eating itself. So we'll talk more. Yeah, this would be an interesting topic tomorrow about the survival of the adult male. And so thank you for being with me. It's now saying battery low. My phone's running out of battery power, so I need to shut off. And I'll see you. Yeah, you also have. Yeah, bye. And we'll talk more.